So yeah, I became an artist because my middle-class parents were at work all the time, and they didn't have so much time at home. So they had to come up with some strategies to have me also out of home so that I wouldn't be alone at home. And they enrolled me in different art classes. So my childhood basically was between, after school was between painting classes and music class and whatever, sports and swimming. And and in that way I was exposed to art very early on. But actually I studied music first, and when I moved to Finland in my early 20s, I switched to visual arts full-time. So what I usually deal with in my work is the relation between people and systems that control them or somehow practice power over them. I don't work with specific medium or formats. I have worked with a variety of different mediums. Throughout my practice, I have background in documentary filmmaking and music, and those so often still appear in my work, in my current work, which just through the past few years have switched more into the direction of sculpture, and still sculpture in combination with different time-based mediums. I start from the concept, I start from the subject, and then I see what that particular subject requires and how I can translate it into forms and into basically a medium or a series of mediums for each exhibition. My works are usually observations of different situations, different events, particularly events of historic proportion and their impact on the individuals. I look at the agency of different systems, different institutions, and how they basically exert power over individuals, and how they relate to human beings. And for this particular exhibition, I just realized that actually I've never dealt with anything related to the country I was born in, which is Iran. I've done several works in different countries related to, as observations, outsider observation, basically with an outsider eye, towards different social issues in Finland, in Estonia, in different Baltic countries, in the US. But I just noticed that for me it has been very hard to deal with anything related to my country, because maybe it's particularly dealing with a subject that is not familiar for an audience in a different geographical location, that the audience definitely does not have the knowledge of the details of that subject. So it becomes very difficult how to translate it, how to create that background for the works to be understood, but also what's the relevance of that subject. In this case, what I'm dealing with is resistance, everyday resistance of people towards a system, a regime that is kind of in power thousands of kilometers away. So what is the relevance of that particular situation to the people here in Scandinavia, in Finland? But then I think with this exhibition and with this new body of work, I'm trying to find ways of translating those issues, converting them to more tangible, more more sensible topics that have things in common with this other audience here, which means no matter what that system is there, no matter what the resistance or rebellion is, kind of trying to confront, it's a system, and systems and the powers are present in different contexts and in different societies in different forms. So yes, the wider topic of this exhibition is resistance, but each individual work has layers of stories and details of very, very specific stories. They're images that I've carried with myself during the past few years, and basically stories that I thought, as the media is not dealing with them anymore, as the topic is not hot anymore, the topic is replaced by some other topic that of course is as important. However, I tried, I couldn't find the way to do justice to the stories and to the topic. Some of the works became rather abstract or rather far from the stories that are being told, but at the end they're just like all these fragments and images and stories of a particular movement, basically. This particular work, for example, which is very, very personal for me, is my very first attempt to work with sculpture, like in a very physical way, because I so often work with like metal workers and make bigger metal constructions. But this, for me, was my very first attempt, and it's full of failures. But it was very important for me to do it personally, because it's about the relation I built with the survivors of the movement. It came out like it was my way of spending time with them and trying to document their bodies that were hurt or that suffered during the movement. So these are basically molds of different hands of different people who participated in this particular resistance. For me, it's important to tell these stories to an audience that does not have access to them.
Sabe-se o racho.